We're going to be working with a focus on the shoulders today. And of course, those of you who've practiced with me before, you know that I'm going to be working everything in the whole body at the same time. So you'll leave feeling like you've opened things up and you've strengthened things as well. But our main focus for awareness sake is going to be around the shoulders. So we have a bone here, which is kind of like a long thin bone like this, and it has a ball on the end of it, and it sits in a socket on our shoulder. It's very similar to the design of the leg and the hip. And whereas the leg and the hip are really stable, solid devices, we have a lot more mobility in our shoulders, which is great, but it's not great if we're not using and strengthening the muscles that hold everything together here. So I'm just going to take some of the really obvious normal shapes that we do in every single class that we practice together and add in some variations of the arms, so that you can start to think in your practice how you're using these muscles and how that feels during the week when you're not actually practicing yoga, but just that gentle reminder to stand up tall, to engage these different parts of the body. And longevity is what I'm thinking. It's not that we're going to suddenly miraculously have the best posture overnight, but it will be a gentle reminder for our mind to come back to that idea of how good posture feels again and again. Okay, so comfortable seat just for a moment. Even though these are short sessions together, I really like to take a moment to just pause and connect. So just find a comfortable seat, cross legs or sitting on your shins. And let's just take the palms to face down. Let's bring our energy to a grounded place. Bring the shoulders up towards the ears so you feel what it's like to engage here. And then just let them relax and draw down the back, okay? And then let the chest be kind of open and broad, collarbone smiling if you want to think about it like that. And then sit back so that you feel the muscles in the lower belly start to engage. And just that simple adjustment fires up lots of different things that help us with our posture as well. And then just sit up nice and tall through the crown of the head and draw the chin back towards your neck just a little bit. And then close your eyes. And see if you can maintain all of those little bits that I just described. And then relax just a little. Soften the space around the belly so that when you breathe in through the nose or the mouth, you're able to guide that breath down deep towards the belly area, the bottom corners of the ribs and the lungs. And just notice how it feels to be aware of the breath coming in. A gentle expansion of the rib cage, the lungs beneath them filling up. Growing taller through the whole length of the body as you breathe in as well. And then draw your awareness to the exhale, how it feels when the breath is leaving the body. So a gentle awareness of energy coming in and awareness of energy leaving, that constant cycle of renewal. Fresh energy arriving, things that we no longer need moving away. And while you're aware of the fact that you're breathing, just see how it feels in the mind. Can you clear the mind and let the focus just be on the breath? Soften the space in between the eyebrows and around the edges of the eyes. And we're just going to take 3 more breaths, no technique, just awareness of breath in. And then awareness of breath out. And that's your awareness of really being present, being here. One more big inhale and exhale, just like this. And then just slowly start to open the eyes. And as the eyes open, just mentally clock and check how you feel. That moment of pause is often long enough to really shift from a busier mindset to a calmer one. And then if you happen to sit on something, just release it to the side, okay? And we're going to do a few active stretches and then a few regular stretches. So find a nice long spine, and I'm just going to get you to take your hands and interlace the hands behind your head, okay? And my legs are crossed. You can take the legs out wider if you want to. That's okay as well. And you'll see what I mean in a minute. Draw the belly into the spine and just slowly start to lean left elbow over towards the ground. So what we're doing is engaging the muscle a little bit at the same time as stretching it. Okay, and then when we come to the passive stretch, we'll find that there's a little bit more range of motion perhaps. Push down through the right hip as much as you can. Doesn't matter if it lifts up a little. And then just keep the spine long, belly drawn in, come back up through to center. And then just slowly transition over to second side. And now you're noticing how it feels through left side body. It's a little bit windy here, so I hope it's okay for you guys to hear me. And then one more time each direction, just slowly come up through center, draw the belly in if it relaxed, leaning over, maybe there's a little bit more space already, and maybe not, that's okay. Can you draw the right shoulder back just a little, and maybe on the next exhale, there's a little bit more room to move in. And then just slowly come back up through to center. And then on your exhale, your out breath, leaning over to the right, left shoulder draws back. And just notice if there's a little bit more freedom now. And then come back up through center, release the hands, take your hand down to the ground, and then let's reach over in a different way, the normal way for us, okay? So you're leaning down through your left hand, reaching over with the right hand, and just acknowledge the space that you have or space that you need to have through the side body. And let's go one more time, second direction. So right hand down, left hand coming up and over, shoulder draws back, fingers extending. And notice if the areas you're feeling it on each side are similar or a little bit different. And then just slowly guide yourself back up through to center. Change the cross of the legs so the other leg is in front. We're always trying to find that balance, okay? And then bring your arms to be cactus arms. So your elbows are in line with shoulders, fingers are facing up, okay? And I want you to imagine that you're squeezing something in between the hands. And as you exhale, just round the upper back and go against that resistance. Bring the elbows in towards each other, okay? So there's that sticky stuff in between, and then elbows and outside of the hands face, edges of the hands face each other. Palms of the hands face you. And then lift the fingers up, lift the elbows up, away from you. And then separate the hands away from each other. Keep the elbows together. And for some of you, that's going to be super easy. And some of you, that's going to be a little bit more challenging. And just sit there with this nice active sensation of strength through the back of the shoulders. So working with rotator cuff and deltoids a little bit here. See if you can relax the jaw, relax the neck, relax the belly. One more breath. Bring the hands back together when the exhale finishes, and then just lightly take the arms back. And we're going to do that just one more time. So imagine that resistance again, fingers wide. Squeeze the elbows towards each other, a slightly different way to practice, I know. Squeeze the elbows to touch. Take the edges of the hands together, palms face you. Lift the elbows up and away, fingertips as well, and then separate the hands. And notice how that feels in the back of the body. It's a very similar shape and setup to eagle wrap with the arms, which we're going to do in a moment. But this is the strength version. Hands come together, elbows lower, and just release the hands down. Take a couple of rolls of the shoulders, okay? And then take your right arm out in front of you, cross your left arm over the top, bend the elbows, and now wrap the arms around each other. Elbows reach away from center, fingertips up to the sky. And now suddenly that's going to feel like a really easy option compared to what we did for some of us. And sometimes in yoga, we are very passive with our stretching. We use the bones as leverage to help us, which is fantastic. But sometimes when we want to strengthen these harder to reach muscles, these more intricate, smaller, precise muscles, we want to be a bit more active with our stretching and strengthening, okay? So we're going to be throwing in a few different tricks as we move today. And then I'll be going into this in a lot more detail on Tuesday's class on Zoom, okay? So let's just draw the elbows down, unwind the arms, get nice and big, chest comes forward, shoulders back, and then swap sides. So left arm under, right arm on top, bend the elbows, wrap the arms around and just lift up. Fingers are not coming towards the head, they're lifting up, elbows are reaching away. And you're relaxed in the belly, so you're really trying to breathe deeply down to the belly area. Finding some space in the rhomboids and the trapezius. And we're going to be strengthening these muscles most of the class, so this is why we're spending time releasing now. These muscles are responsible for making sure our shoulder blades are in a good position. So we have that extra opportunity for good posture. All right, and then just slowly lower the elbows, release the hands, little bit of fuzziness or heat around the shoulders and triceps and biceps maybe. Okay, roll the opposite way. Perfect. And then roll yourself over into tabletop position. Spread those hands nice and wide, okay? Shoulders above the wrist. And let's just soften the belly. Cat and cows now, chest forward, tailbone lifts. And as we exhale, we're pushing the ground away, drawing the chin towards the chest and just rounding through the spine now. And then inhale all the way back through center and just continue to move with your own rhythm of breathing. We're going to take 5 rounds of breath like this. And just all the time, be aware of what's happening in the spine, where it feels good, lower back, middle back, upper back. Notice how it feels, that gentle tipping forward and backward of the pelvic bowl. All of these things connected in the body. So we want to think about this as finding space in one area and how that benefits other areas of the body as well. Okay. And then let's just slowly pause when we finish the next round of breath. Walk the fingers a little further forward and then tuck the toes under, downward facing dog. Okay, so with the hands on the floor, push the ground away, lift up through the hips, and see if you can broaden the upper back. So it's almost like you're rolling the arms outward, an external rotation. Push down through the heels of the feet, doesn't matter if they touch the ground or not. Notice how it feels through the back of the leg, and then let's just start to walk the dog. So lifting the hips high, bending one heel, bending one knee rather, lifting one heel, alternating side to side. Finding that space and length. And we spend so much more time in our lives forward folding or rounding forward and stretching out back body, not necessarily intentionally stretching out back body. Sometimes it just gets lazy and long and weak. And what we want to try and do is balance that out. So take another big breath where you are, and then just look forward, step the feet to the top of the mat. And as you get there, halfway lift, inhale. And as you exhale, forward fold. And here's something we're going to change. Bring the hands to heart center. And on your inhale now, just come up so that your torso is parallel to the ground. That's going to be your halfway lift. And use the hands to really push into each other and kind of strengthen through the upper back. So you're going to have a little bend in the knees to begin with, probably. So every time we do our halfway lift, instead of fingers on the ground and yanking forward, we're going to come up a bit higher and practice strength, okay? Exhale, forward fold. And then interlace the fingers behind the back. Knuckles draw away from the lower back. Head is heavy, neck is relaxed, still with a bend in the knees. And if you can't reach the hands together, squeeze the palms towards each other as if you had a block in between your hands. So you're creating that resistance again. And if you're just lazily, lightly holding the fingers together, really again, imagine that you're squeezing the shoulder blades towards each other. So you're firing up muscles in between the shoulders. And while you're here, notice how nice it is to have that release around the front of the shoulder, the chest area. This is a muscle that we don't really get into very easily for stretching's sake. Often the easiest way to access it is with a tennis ball. Take another big breath. Keep squeezing shoulder blades nice and actively. Perfect. And then release the hands to the ground. Belly draws in. Roll yourself up slowly. Vertebrae by vertebrae. Head is the last thing to come up. Palms face forwards. And even that simple act of standing tall and turning the palms to face forwards is firing up muscles in the back of the shoulders as well. So a little tip for movement. Push down through the feet, draw the belly in, stand as tall as you can. If the ribs are puffing forward, just draw them in towards each other. And then sweep the hands up towards the sky. Inhale. Exhale, swan dive, big open heart, forward fold. And then inhale, hands at heart center, halfway lift. So spine nice and long, okay? Opportunity to strengthen again. And then exhale, hands come down, step right foot back, lower the knee to the ground, come onto the top of the foot, and just reach the hands up to the sky. Okay, we're going to change the arms in a moment. And I want you to push down through the top of the right foot, sink into the hips, and draw the belly in and away from left thigh, which is going to give you more sensation of stretch in the right hip. And then imagine you're squeezing a block in between the thighs, so you're nice and firm in the legs, okay? And then can you bend the elbows, make fists with the hands first, okay? I'm going to face you to show you. Make fists with the hands, and then bend the elbows and bring opposite hand to opposite elbow, and just push the fist into the elbow. You're not holding it. You're just pushing towards each other. Okay, so you've got those nice strong legs, and then you're strong in the arms. And then just look forward, chin almost drawing in towards the neck. Sink a little deeper into the hips here. And can you lift up with the sternum, the chest? Can you take your gaze and your hands just a little bit higher up and back? Belly stay strong. Sink a little deeper into the hips. Take another big breath here. Okay. Nice. And then release the hands down to the ground. Tuck the toes, lift the knees, step it back to downward facing dog. Push the ground away with both hands, hips high. And then just slowly look forward, come into plank position. Push the heels away, nice and strong in the legs. You can drop knees if you need to here. And then chaturanga, exhale, come all the way down. Interlace the fingers like we did in standing forward fold behind the back. Squeeze the shoulder blades towards each other. And your chin is still tucked a little bit, gaze is down. Can lift the feet if that feels accessible for you. And really make it nice and active. So you're really opening up through the front of the chest, but you're not doing it just by yanking the hands. You're strong through the upper back. Okay. And then tuck the toes under, bring the hands next to the chest. Push the ground away as you lift up to downward facing dog. Big breath. Okay. Inhale, right leg lifts, three-legged downward dog. Exhale, draw the knee to the nose, and then just slowly place the foot between the hands. Lower left knee down. Come onto the top of the foot. Fingers lift nice and high. So use the feet to get firm to the ground. Squeeze those inner thighs in. Draw the belly in and away. Okay. Take another big breath as you sink a little deeper. And we're going to do something similar with the hands now. So make fists with the hands again. But this time turn the palm of the hand to face forwards. Okay, so if I do it facing you. And you're going to use resistance, imaginary resistance, and just slowly start to draw arms down to be parallel. Okay, and then take the arms slowly back up against resistance again, but a little less. Sink into the hips, and then same resistance, bring the arms down. So this is strengthening lats, trapezius, and the back body, and then lift up again. And then just one more time, sink a little deeper into the hips, use that resistance to come down. And then take the palms wide, squeeze against resistance, elbows coming in towards each other. And then take the outside of the hands to touch, push into the elbows, lift up through the fingers, and then separate the hands. And then sink down into the hips, lift up through the fingertips. Notice how it feels through the front of that left hip. Still strong in the feet, strong and nice and open, yet strong at the same time. Take another big breath. Nice, and then just slowly release the hands down to the mat. Tuck the toes of the left foot, lift the knee, step forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, spine long. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, take the arms out nice and wide. Bend the knees, lift up, hands to the sky. Samastiti, hands to heart center. Okay, push down through the feet. Okay, inhale, sweep those arms up to the sky. Exhale, bend the elbows, interlace the hands behind the head. As you exhale, push down through right foot, lean over to the left. Really push down through the foot, feel the lengthening through the side body. And then inhale, bring it back through center. Exhale, over to the right. Inhale, back through to center. Take the arms out nice and wide, strong upper back, slowly moving to forward fold. Inhale, hands at heart center, halfway lift, so that nice strong version that we've changed it to. And then hands down, step left foot back. Stay on the ball of left foot this time. Inhale, crescent pose, so fingers lift up to the sky. Sink down into the hips. Push away through the left heel, get nice and firm to begin with, okay? And then sink down into the hips. Bring a little bend into that left knee. So it's going to give you more sensation through left hip. It's going to make the leg work a bit harder too. All right. And then just slowly start to make a fist with both hands. Take left arm forward, down, and then back. Keep it active. Bend the elbow and squeeze the hand up towards shoulder blade area. And then push the hand into wherever it meets on the back. And then with the other arm, reach it forward. Draw shoulder blade forward. So it's like you're leaning forward a little. Okay. Lift the arm up to the sky. Bend that elbow and reach the hand behind your back. Now the hands are not going to meet. That's okay. And instead of looking forward, draw the chin back. Sink down into the hips. Lift up through right elbow. Energetically squeezing the fists towards each other. Strong legs, strong upper back. One more big breath here. And then slowly release the hands to the ground. Step back to downward facing dog. So there should be a little bit of heat around the shoulders. Hips lifting high, hands pushing the ground away. Go ahead and inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, bring knee towards nose. Step the foot between the hands. Stay on the ball of your right foot. And then inhale, arms to the sky. So sink down into the lunge as high or low as you choose. Introduce a little bend into the right knee. So you know normally I'm straightening that leg out. Bend it just a little. I'm getting into psoas here as well. Front of hip is inevitably tight for a lot of us. Make those fists above your head, okay? And then take right arm forward and then down. And then reach it back as if you're pushing against resistance behind you. And then bend the elbow, reach the hand as high up to the shoulder blades as you can. Okay, strong. And then lean left arm forward, draw shoulder blade away from center of your body. Okay, and then take the arm all the way up. Bend the elbow, squeeze hands towards each other. And then sink down deeper if you want to. If the chin is reaching forward, just draw the chin in. Hands really squeezing, nice and active. Front of that hip getting a nice work as well. So it's working, stretching and strengthening a bit at the same time. And funnily enough, when we strengthen the muscles more, we actually find more flexibility in these muscles and vice versa. Take another breath. And then release, relax the hands to the top of the mat. Step right foot forward, forward fold. Okay. Inhale, halfway lift, spine long, hands at heart center. Exhale, forward fold. Interlace the fingers behind the back. Reach the squeeze of the shoulder blades towards each other. Reach the hands up to the sky. Head heavy, neck relax. Shake it out a little bit if it feels helpful. Weight comes into the toes as well as the heels of the foot, so you're spreading the load. Hips lifting nice and high. Take another big breath. And then slowly release those hands to the ground. Roll yourself up vertebrae by vertebrae. Okay. Standing tall, turning the palms to face forwards. Just one more round of movement. So nice strong fingers, upper back strong, chest open. Inhale, reach the fingers up to the sky. Okay. Push an imaginary weight in between the hands. So you're nice and strong here. Separate the feet a little bit. Push down through the right foot and keep that distance between the hands, that resistance between the hands. Exhale over to your left. And just notice how it feels to have strong arms rather than just pulling. Little bit more space perhaps. Inhale, bring yourself back up through center. Draw the shoulders down and away from the ears. And then exhale over in the other direction. Check in, see how it feels. One big breath. Nice. And then just slowly come back through to center. Exhale, swan dive, big, strong, open back, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Hands come into that nice heart center position. And then exhale, hands down, step to plank. Okay. Take your right hand forward, just about one hand. Okay. Turn the inside elbow crease towards your thumb and then come onto the outside edge of your right foot. Left foot can stack on top if you want to. Left hand up to the sky. You can make it lighter by dropping right knee down. Okay, really reach the fingers up and you're pushing into the hand on the floor, lifting up through the hand, reaching upward. Take a big breath here. And then lower left hand down, adjust your feet, rearrange your hands back to regular shape. And then turn left hand and place it a little bit further forward than right. Turn the crease of the elbow in to face your thumb. Come onto the outside edge of left foot. Right foot stacks on top or in front of it. Right hand up to the sky. Okay, you can lighten it, remember, by dropping left knee down. Keep lifting up through the hands. Keep pushing the ground away from the hand on the floor. Nice. And then slowly place the hands in a regular position to the ground, plank position. Exhale, chaturanga, come all the way down. Inhale, Sphinx pose. So elbows under shoulders and grip the fingertips into the mat. Reach your chest forward. Okay, nice and strong. Take a big breath here. And then interlace the fingers. Outer edges of the hand on the ground. Tuck the toes under, come into forearm plank. Okay, and it's almost like you're drawing tailbone down. Chest is still reaching forward, shoulders, hips are in line. There's a little rounding of the upper back. Kind of inevitable. Take another breath here. Keep pushing away with the heels. Nice, and then lower the body down, come back into Sphinx. Grip with the fingertips, reach the chest forward. And we're gonna do that just one more time, okay? So interlace the fingers, outer edge of the hand on the mat. Tuck the toes under. Lift the hips, the belly, and the legs. Push away through the heels. Draw the tailbone down just a touch, nice and long. Keep reaching away with the heels. One more breath. Nice. And then just slowly lower the legs and the belly. Last time in Sphinx pose. Grip the fingers to the mat, chest forward. Okay. Place the hands next to your chest. Lower yourself down. And then push into the hands, lift up, cobra pose. Last little back bend here. Tuck the toes under, lift up through plank, coming into downward facing dog. Okay. Use the hands to push the ground away. Find some release and length through the spine. Reach the heels down, push the thighs back. Take another big breath just here. And then look forward, step the feet about halfway forward and then lower the bottom down to the ground. Okay, you're gonna take your right leg out to the side of the mat. Toes point towards you, left leg bent. Sit up nice and tall, okay? And then interlace the fingers behind the head for me. Nice and strong. And then draw the belly in. On your exhale, you're gonna lean over towards your extended leg. Push down through the opposite hip. Okay. Lean back through lifted shoulder if you can. One breath. Release right hand down to the leg. Left hand can stay on the head or you can extend it further over if you wish. Okay. Check in, see how the body's doing. Space, release. Strength and heat a little. Inhale yourself back slowly through center, taking the hand behind you to the ground, come onto left shin, reach the hips forward, reach the hands back. Nice, and then just slowly bring the bottom back down to the ground. And let's switch legs. Don't use your hands if you can help it. Let's use our strength. So lean back, lift the leg up with a bend in the knee, okay? See if you can lift the other leg up. And can you get yourself into the shape without any hands? Just an experiment. If you need hands, do. Okay, nice to see what we can do without assisting always. Taking the straight leg with a nice pointy toe towards you. Interlace those fingers behind the head. Sit up tall, belly draws in. And then exhale, lean over actively towards the straight leg. Okay. Lean back with top, elbow, shoulder. Belly strong, finding a little bit of power, strength, and release. Big breath as we are here. And then release the hand down to the leg. And you have the choice to keep the hand on the head here or start to extend with the arm reaching. Choice is yours. And just notice how that feels, lower side. And then ever so slowly begin to roll yourself up. Take the hand that was behind your head on the floor, come onto that front shin, and then sweep the other arm behind you. Nice little opener of the front body. And then gently bring bottom back down to the ground. Same thing again, hands free. Can you bring the legs together away from you and then take them out in front of you on the floor? Point the toes towards you. Just experimenting from time to time. How much active range of motion do you have? Toes pointing towards you, muscles above the legs engaged here. Sweep the arms up towards the sky. Imagine that imaginary block or resistance in between the hands. Okay, if the chest is puffing forward, just draw it in a little bit. Lift up through the fingers, keep lifting up through the crown of the head. Chin drawing in, so a nice strong Dandasana before we come into Paschimottanasana. And then on your next exhale, just slowly keep the legs strong, belly strong. Reach hands forward, down the legs. Every inhale is that opportunity to lengthen the spine, and every exhale, opportunity to fold. And I want you to keep these active as well. So your belly's still drawn into the spine, which is testing and firing up muscles on the back of the spine to protect you. Toes pointing towards you is keeping the muscles above the knees engaged, which helps to straighten the legs. And that makes it easier for you to get the access through the back line of the legs and the body here. Okay. Big inhale to lengthen the spine, big exhale to fold. In Vinyasa, we do a lot of active stretching. We do a lot of PNF work in my classes as well. And then in Yin, we switched to the passive stretching. No muscles engaged, okay? And we want to try to cut out the passive stretching in the Vinyasa just a little, just so that we can find the balance that's often missing in the stuff and the way we move away from the yoga mat. One more breath. And then just slowly begin to roll yourself up, vertebrae by vertebrae. Give the legs a little shake. And then just slowly lie yourself down onto the mat. Give the knees a little hug into center. Massage out the spine, rolling a little bit from side to side. And then just slowly begin to allow the legs to relax down to Shavasana. Take up as much space as you can with the arms. Let the feet fall effortlessly wherever they land. Some of you, if you need a little spinal twist, feel free to add one in before Shavasana here. Otherwise, just pausing, relaxing, closing your eyes, letting the whole of the back line of your body, your shoulders, your head, the upper back, the buttocks, back of the thighs, the back of the arms, melt down towards the ground. Softening all of the effort, the tension that we carry around the jaw, around the neck. Relaxing the tongue away from the roof of the mouth. And softening the muscles in between the eyes and around the edges of the eyes. Let the breath slow down, deepen. Filling yourself up with those luxurious inhales full of fresh energy. Mentally letting go with every breath out. Nowhere else to be, nothing else to do, nothing else to think about. Just slowly start to bring a little awareness to your body. Wiggling of the fingers, of the toes. And gently reaching your arms up overhead, inviting a full body stretch. Drawing the knees in towards the chest, giving them a hug as you roll a little from side to side, back and forth. Eventually coming to roll over and rest for a moment on whichever side feels best. Keeping your eyes closed, using your hands to slowly lift you up to a comfortable seat. Bringing your hands gently together at heart center. Taking a moment to pause in this position and just check in with how you feel. Mentally, physically. See if you can carry some of that stillness, that calmness with you into the rest of your weekend, into the rest of whatever lays ahead for you this week. Knowing that you can come back to it at any time you need it, always there inside. Bowing our heads to our hands in gratitude for our practice and gratitude for our health. Namaste. Thank you very much, everybody. Okay. So I hope that you feel a little bit more mobile, a little warmer, a little more spacious. I'm going to see some of you I know for yin, which is going to be super relaxing in a moment as well. And everyone else, thank you so much for joining. If there's anything you'd like me to focus on for next week, let me know. Okay, take care, guys.